It's 2 p.m. A very good afternoon and welcome to Market View. This is the FESBC edition, the Thursday edition. My name is Lungalele Makakula. Thank you for tuning in. You can watch us on our YouTube page, Eswatini TV. We are on DSTV as well, channel 286. Thank you for tuning in. The Federation of Eswatini Business Community, FESBC, promises to connect entrepreneurs with industry experts to help their businesses move to the next level and become more prominent. Sabi Inglumalo had a sit-down interview with, who's the National Administrator, had a sit-down interview with our business journalist Nelsiwe Intlangamandla on the benefits entrepreneurs have by joining the FESBC. Later, we will have the let's go for an ad break. We'll be back shortly.
Sabatandi ukuthi njengalokhu sivile sive sithi khulumeni.
Welcome back. Apologies for that. Thank you for tuning in. This is FESBC Business Market Watch, the Thursday edition. My name is Lungalele. Thank you for tuning in. The Federation of Eswatini Business Community promises to connect entrepreneurs with industry experts to help their businesses move to the next level and become more prominent. Sabi Ngumalo, who is the National Administrator at FESBC, talks to us about the benefits of entrepreneurs joining FESBC. For now, let's go to business news.
Eswatini signed an agreement with the government of Rwanda to collaborate in the development of two systems, which are the Integrated Financial Management Information System and an electronic government procurement system. The results have been delivered as the financial system will start operating next month. We asked the team from Rwanda to unpack how the system will operate.
So the way the system works actually, it's a system that tracks public expenditure. And the way the public expenditure are, first you start from revenue side, where money is coming from. Government money. Government money comes from the taxes you are paying through ERS. Comes from what we call non-tax revenue. The services, the moment you acquire a passport, birth certificate, those are non-tax revenue. You collect them together. You get grant from countries that are friendly to the kingdom. Again, you get loans. If you have some deficiency in having enough money, you get loans. And you put all this in one basket. This basket is managed by Ministry of Finance. They start by doing planning. Where do we want to invest? Construction of road, construction of school, hospitals, and so on, payment of salaries, travels, and so on. You understand? They analyze the economy, they do everything, then they say, this is how we are going to distribute resources. Now, that's what the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Economic and Development Planning plays the role. The one start by planning, by projecting, by creating a roadmap where the country need to be. That's the Ministry of Economic Development. That projection comes to the Ministry of Finance, which is in charge now of distributing resources. To say, these are our priorities. Because you understand that no country can have enough resources. Then they prioritize. By doing all this, they do that in the system. That system is what we call FESBC. Now, at the end, once they have prioritized, they create a budget. And this budget must be distributed to different entities. This is what will be spent by Inkundla, ABC, and so on. Ministry Agriculture is going to have this money. Therefore, then once the fiscal year starts, of course, this must be approved also by the Parliament. The data that is approved by Parliament, that's what we call fiscal framework paper, is approved by Cabinet and Parliament. And once approved, it goes ahead now on expenditure side. Now payments start, where you get, people, they get their salaries, travels, and now the system can help you actually to track all these expenditures and know where money came from and where it went in a transparent and efficient way.
The Rwanda Corporation says if well managed, the system will help in the turnaround time for payments for different stakeholders. For FESBC Market View, Nelson Langamanda, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Ezulwini.
And that was Placide Mugwende from the Rwanda Corporation talking about the success of the Integrated Financial Information Management System in uprooting corruption, which he says will depend on the commitment of the officers tasked with managing it. Placide Mugwende is from the Rwanda Corporation. He also said this when unpacking the system, which is being introduced by the Ministry of Finance to better control and monitor government's expenditure. And in other news, there is power and collaboration even for small and medium enterprises. These sentiments were shared by Sibongile Skudla, who is the resource mobilizer at the Federation of Eswatini Business Community, whilst explaining that the Federation is taking bold steps in helping their small and medium enterprises take advantage of all available business opportunities.
We are trying to ensure that every small and medium business owner is ready and is well prepositioned to access resources like finance, like information, like capital, like business know-how, and then write winning proposals and winning business plans, because it goes beyond the money, but it's also about sustaining the business, and it's also about managing the business, and it's also about the technicality of that business. It's also full of challenges. Sometimes it can be difficult, but we are trying to work against a culture of heavily dependency to every business owner that is there. We are trying to say meet yourself halfway and meet the financier that is there halfway in terms of your preparedness as well. Come knowing already that what is the idea that you have, because if you want to use my money, if it was me to try an idea, it will be difficult for me to find you, but it will be easy for me to find you if you have started that idea and you've tested it, or you've even piloted it, and then I'll realize that, oh, okay, at least there's a commitment for this idea, there's a commitment for this business, and in that way, we are able to say, then here are the models of learning. In Eswatini or Africa or the world over, we believe by seeing, so we will use the strategy of promoting those models of learning, those that get the support first, those that get the funding first, those that have successful businesses first, and use them to challenge those that are still sitting and crying in those corners. And we want to ensure that we make them know that it's not necessary. Only if you stand up, get more information, you stand up and ensure you join other similar-minded businesses, and also the ability to work as a team, the ability of ensuring that the collectivism, you understand why collective bargaining will always help in terms of resources.
It's 10 minutes after 2, and that's it for our business news. We'll go for an ad break. When we come back, we're listening to Nelly's interview with Sabi Ngumalo.
kunjalo masada mahle kunathi lesa
sabatandi ukuthi njengalokhu sifile sive sithi khulumeni.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. The Federation of Eswatini Business Community, FESBC, promises to connect entrepreneurs with industry experts to help their businesses move to the next level and become more prominent. Sebi Ngumalo, the national administrator, says the Federation promotes its members' business interests and provides information as well as resources that match their specific needs. Let us listen to more of what she had to say about the benefits of being a member of FESBC during a conversation with business journalist Nelson Wenhlangamandla.
Thank you, Sabi, for joining us on the show to share some insights on the importance and the benefits of being a member of FESBC so that a small and medium enterprise can be sustainable. First, start by walking us through the journey of being a member of FESBC. How do a small and medium enterprise holder join FESBC?
Thank you for the opportunity. FESBC is the Federation of Eswatini Business Community. What businesses that we are dealing with are SMEs. Yes, so those are the kind of businesses that we are dealing with as FESBC. With FESBC, we focus on the small, micro-scale enterprises. Yes, how do you join FESBC? To be under this umbrella, you need to have a membership fee of 500 emalangeni if you are joining as an individual business. But if you are a cooperative or an association, you join. The joining fee is 1,500 emalangeni. Then you pay monthly subscriptions of 265 emalangeni every month. The membership fee is annual, so you have to renew it every year. If you are interested to be under the Federation of Eswatini Business Community, you can contact me, Sabi Ngumalo, ku 767222832. We are currently located at Sitogoto at Tamzota World, and my offices are FESBC, Akona. Email address it is sabie@fesbic.org.
Which sectors of businesses can join FESBC? Is it all the sectors or there are specific sectors that are supposed to join FESBC?
Yes, actually every small and medium enterprise can join FESBC. FESBC is looking at 17 sectors of the economy. That includes agriculture, manufacturing, it's a long list, education, where we have workshops and trainings, we train the business people on capacity building. It's a long list. So we cover all the 17 sectors of the economy.
Talk to us about the specific benefits of joining FESBC. I'll make an example. Currently, the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade has the Citizens Economic Empowerment Act. Do you talk to your members about those benefits? Do you talk to your members about the benefit of the different trade agreements that government has with other countries and organizations?
As FESBC, we make sure that we take good care of our members. As a FESBC member, you do not have to face difficulties or challenges in your business because you are under FESBC. So FESBC makes sure when you meet a challenge, maybe you need a funding, we make sure that we organize or we find a funding for your business so that you can expand or develop your business. If you meet challenges like you're in debt or you have a challenge with errors, we have a a collaboration with the ARS, whereby if our member is owing a lot, there's this program by ARS that says we are Sikulume. So we make sure that we facilitate that program with ARS so that our business person is free from that debt by understanding or making it a point that we negotiate for easy payments for the member. It is very much important ukuthi ube yi-FESBC member, because FESBC uyakhona ukuthi afundise ama-members akhe ngema-policies lakhona even lokufaka ekhathi Citizens Economic and Empowerment Act lakhona kubuketwe ukuthi eMaswati angasizakala kanjani, bosomabhizinisi beMaswati bangasizakala kanjani, kuba empowerisha. So FESBC uyakhona kuwenda lawo ma-trainings lawo nyalo nje kwakhiwa lenye i-policy ye-investment policy nakhona kubukelwa wona lama-members labosomabhizinisi beMaswati ukuthi how can they invest the policy tabasita kakhulu ukuthi basenda nemikhiqido yabo bakhone ukukhicida ngezinga lelifanele even.
Business experts, Sabi, have always said that the micro and small businesses do not then grow to be medium and big enterprises. Are you helping the businesses under FESBC to grow to be exporters, for example?
We note ukuthi most of our business people they don't grow from being micro, small, they don't reach the medium level. So we know that the challenges they face afake khathi kungabhadaleki kahle kwema-loans lesuke sibasite ukuthi bawathole. You find that this business person is not faithful on paying back the money, so they end up falling from, instead of them to grow, they go back because they don't put more effort and they are not loyal to pay their loans. So as FESBC, we encourage them and we train them, we teach them that it is very much important to pay back the loan so that you can be able to get more loan and proceed and grow your business.
It is encouraging to note that you are helping micro and small businesses to comply with the law, but I want you now to talk to us about the programs that you have, like in this remainder of the year, programs that will help small and medium enterprises. What is it that will excite them? They are potential members, they are sitting at home, wanting to maybe join FESBC or contemplating to join FESBC. What is it that you can say? Just talk to them about the programs that you have that will help them to grow their businesses.
For the rest of the year, as we have just finished our establishment of our regional executive committees, we are now in an exercise to have trainings. This coming week, on the 18th of September, we are having a training in the Shiselweni region at Nhlangano, and we'll be running the same training in Manzini on the 25th of September. We are training on ISO standards, so we encourage our members to attend and have knowledge about the ISO standards. We will soon be training on the AI, the artificial intelligence, and we'll also train on the greening the economy before the end of the year.
I'm sure you can tell by the smile on my face that I'm excited about the topics that you are talking about, going green, artificial intelligence, because the world is towards greening the economies, and artificial intelligence, well, it's taking over. So why is it important for small and medium enterprises, especially those under FESBC, to learn about such topics?
maybe kuchaza nje for bosomabhizinisi ba-FESBC kuthi kumqoka ngani lokuthi sendele ama-trainings e-AI, artificial intelligence, nale greening the economy kanye nale ma-ISO standards. Kumqoka because live liyathuthuka. As live lithuthuka, uma ngabe imikhiqizo yakho ufuna kuyi-exporta noma kuyikhipha ngaphandle kwaleli kufuna ibe nema-standards, ma-ISO standards abalulekile. Without those standards angeke imukeleke imikhiqizo yakho out of the country. Siyayi-greena-ke ama-businesses ethu siyawenda abe green because umhlaba wonke kumcoka ukuthi ibhizinisi ibe green nakhona solo ku-apply wona lawo ma-standards ukuthi uma ngabe umkhiqizo wakho awusikho green noma ibhizinisi yakho ayikho ku-green awuyongi wena imvelo, then uba ne-problem yokuthi ungatholi nale funding. Khona i-funding lekhona for greening the businesses, so ku-encourage wonke somabhizinisi ukuthi and esho ukuthi ibhizinisi yakhe i-green iyawuyonga imvelo. The reason why we train our business people on AI, it's because we are now in the digital era and AI is taking over.
I want you, Sabi, to talk to this small and medium enterprise holder at home who is not sure whether to join FESBC or that other organization. Tell them why they should take this bold step to join your federation.
I want to explain FESBC ku somabhizinisi lo ngasisho ukuthi ngiyiphi federation lekahle la ngayijoinela. I would encourage bosomabhizinisi bemtsabo ukuthi basebenzisane na FESBC, bajoyine babe ngaphasi kwe-umbrella ya FESBC because FESBC ngawuthi uba lihlahlandlela kuleyo business yakho. Uyakhona ukuthi akuchushize ukuthi ungayihandlisha kanjani i-business yakho ukuze ingakhula kanjani i-business yakho, and ke FESBC ngikusebenzisana netiko laba-commerce uyakhona vele ukuthi ngale migomo lesinayo nema-policies lesinawo even akhone ukutraina kahle akukhulise ungusomabhizinisi.
Siyabonga kakhulu Sabi kuba nathi ku-FESBC Market View. Siyathemba ukuthi nasomabhizinisi lomncane losekhaya losatibuta ukuthi engabe ngijoyina njani ngenda njani nangifuna ngena ka-FESBC sewuvele ubonile into utawukwati ukuthi sengiso sikhathi lesivele sekuthi asala sukumele etulu atothola nawa onke ama-benefits lesesikhulume ngawo. Thank you so much.
That was Nelson Ntangamandla, business journalist, in conversation with the National Administrator at FESBC, Sabi Ngumalo, speaking on the benefits of joining FESBC. Now we connect with Sanele Sibiya, in-house economist for today's financial markets. A very good afternoon, Sanele. Thank you for joining us on the program. Let's get straight into it. Perhaps we can start off with currencies today. We saw that the rand was trading a bit higher yesterday, and the inflation report in the U.S. was released. Take us through the currencies today.
Hi, Lulu, thank you. So what we are seeing in terms of the currencies is, that slight weakening of the rand when you compare it to the major currencies. That's purely because, when we saw the numbers coming out in terms of the inflation numbers coming out in the US, what it signaled to the markets was, we are at that stage where we are trying to gauge whether the Federal Reserve Bank is going to give us more cuts in terms of the interest rate, or it's going to be a very general cut, a mild cut. So what we saw there is, we saw a bond yields turning up a bit, compared to the equity. So that's why we are seeing the market, the currency is weakening a bit there in terms of when you're comparing it against the dollar. So that's where we are at the present moment. Markets are still waiting to see what's going to happen and how much of an interest rate cut are we going to get. And what's happening right now is, with those disappointing news, it really did push a point to, it did push the narrative that we should not expect a much higher interest rate cut as would have expected going into this week's trading session and this week's economic news. So that's where we are, Lulu. That's why we're seeing the currencies weakening a bit across all major currencies. But no, we still remain strong against the Japanese yen, which has also been weakening across the board.
Okay, so moving on to commodities, gold is up, it's point up by 5.6% today. It was also doing quite well yesterday. Take us through commodities today, and how is Brent crude oil trading today?
So when we are looking at gold, Lulu, it goes back to the issue of, what we are saying in terms of that those rates that that are happening there. It's that inflation rate story. So when you look at the inflation rate story, we are somewhat, worried about how much of the interest rate cut we are going to get, coming through from the Federal Reserve Bank. So that's what we are just battling with there. So that somehow drove gold a bit higher because markets now had to rebase and recalculate and reprice how much of an interest rate cut we're going to get. So gold is continuing to stay up at the 2.5 mark, thereabout, with those marginal gains. And then when you come into the price of Brent crude, what we are seeing in the price of Brent crude is there is that what's it called? There is that slight increase, but we're still on that very low level around the 71 mark, 71 mark. So there is an issue, we are still worried about, some demand depression there. That might not only be centralized to the Chinese economy right now, but it might actually replay across the world. So we are waiting to see what's going to happen in terms of, the producer inflation data that's going to come in today when the markets open in the US, and, we're going to see how much and also we're going to be looking at growth data, also trying to really determine, the jobless data coming in as well. So all those figures are going to tell us how depressed the economy is, if at all it is depressed. But, when we're looking at that Brent crude oil story, it is actually signaling that there is a much deeper demand deficiency across markets, Lou.
Yeah. So moving on to international markets, our international companies such as the S&P 500 reporting good numbers today.
Yeah, what we saw there in the markets is, even though the poor numbers came out in terms of the inflation, inflation really did come above market expectations, really just dampening hopes for an interest rate cut by 50% basis points, maybe right now coming down to 25% basis point. But what we are seeing with markets is, because there was those good performing companies such as NVIDIA and those good news coming out in terms of the allowing of exports into Saudi Arabia. So markets overall remained upbeat. They were somehow able to withstand the shock in terms of the inflation news. But then as well, the issue now is how much of an interest rate cut are we going to get? So the news were bad, but still they left a bit of optimism because we saw inflation still below 3%. So which means there is scope for the Federal Reserve Bank to begin cutting the interest rates. And then if we move into the European markets, we can see that European markets are still on a positive upbeat as well, purely because the inflation numbers that came out of the US were not a good signal, but they did point to the fact that eventually there is going to be an interest rate cut. And as well, when you look into the European markets, there is a lot happening within that market, and we are actually expecting UK data to come out this week, and we are expecting the Central Bank of European Central Bank to also come out and just give us a bit of news in terms of what they're going to do in terms of interest rates. So there is still that bit of optimism lingering on in within the European Union, within the European markets. And then in Asia, again, there are those mixed signals in terms of markets. We're seeing, Hong Kong and Japan, just leading the pack. There, the story is, if you look at the Asian markets, the weaker yen is somehow boosting, yen-based equities within Japan. So there is that somehow of a rebound in the Japanese markets, but it's not much of a rebound. It's just a return to, the figures that we've seen in a couple of the figures we saw maybe say on Wednesday and Tuesday. It was just a rebound, just gaining back those points. But what we're still seeing within mainland China is, though we are on an upward trajectory, but there still are those signs of recession because, we still await, post the Trump-Harris debate. The China story came out quite a number of times in terms of the tariffs that might actually follow. So markets were taken aback by that, but, there's still that bit of a rally, and we're expecting growth to come in within Asia. And then when you come into the South African Stock Exchange, you can see that, yes, we're still trying to be on that upward trajectory, but what we are seeing there is it's a relatively weaker upward surge. purely because the inflation figures really did disappoint. So that means markets had to now rebase and recalculate their interest rate cut expectations from 50% basis point to 25 basis point. And then when you come into the local economy, we've seen some marginal changes within the Eswatini Stock Exchange. We've moved from 41.98, 491.98 to 491.48. Those marginal changes there being driven by changes within Inala Capital and Greystone. They did sell off a few of their shares. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mrs. Bia, for that analysis for today's financial markets. It's 2:30. Thank you for tuning in. We've come to the end of our program. Lumutla will see you next week again, 2 p.m. right here on Eswatini TV.